Hey, hi, hello friends. Ash here with GenSense. How are you doing? You're looking good. It's depressing here right now. Rainy, just nonstop rain. Temperature is like high 30s, really low 40s if I'm lucky. Of course, Fahrenheit. For everybody else on the planet that uses centigrade, they hear me say low 40s, high 30s, and they're like, that's pretty warm. Nah, it's miserable. But we're not here to talk about the weather today. No. We're here to talk about perfect 10 winter fragrances that can still pull you compliments, positive attention. Enough of the intro. Let's jump into it. And I do have to remind you, to your friends, if you shop at twistedlily.com or you shop at maxromo.com, use that code GENS10, save yourself 10% off your order. And if you buy the merch, and by the merch, I mean my fragrances, Blue Ridge, Terra Nova, Jet Black, Enigma, use the link in the description. Check them out on Michael Malul's website. Why'd I do that? I'm gonna have to pick that up later. You use the code GENTSENSE for 20% off. Enough of that. Fragrances, let's go. Where to start? Something obvious. Spice Bomb Extreme, Viktor and Rolf. Pull the pin, spray it on. Compliments. It's that simple. This is my favorite Spice Bomb fragrance. The performance here is great, so you don't have to worry about that. It's gonna stick around for a long time. People are easily gonna be able to pick it up because it has great projection. It has a really nice black vanilla note that gives it this wonderful, approachable sweetness. And of course, because it is a spice bomb, it does have spice. This one is so easy to wear the whole way around. The opening, the mid, the dry down, all of it very approachable. The opening to the original Spice Bomb, which I frankly enjoy a lot. Some people don't. They think it's a little bit too abrasive with all the spice that it does have. And this one reins that in and smooths it out. So Spice Bomb Extreme, absolutely one of the best designer fragrances for wintertime, period. And we've got a good amount of niche in here as well. So let's do one of those up next. Another obvious one. Let's get this out of the way. Naxos from Xerjoff. What can I say about good old Naxos? A wonderful tobacco fragrance. It's another one that's very smooth, which you would expect, frankly, at this price point. This one has lavender, honey, tobacco, and cinnamon as some of the notes in the fragrance. It's also a really good fall fragrance. So this is absolutely not just a wintertime scent. It has drawn comparisons to Pure Havane from Terry Mugler. So if you wanted to really simplify it, you could think of this almost as a more high quality niche take on that style of scent, that Pure Havane style, that pipe tobacco, that sweet pipe tobacco. So there was one point in time where Pure Havane was the much more affordable alternative to this, but now that it's not easy to locate, the price point of Pure Havane has crept up, which makes this kind of an even more attractive option. So the next one is a twofer. Two fragrances, but only one spot in the list. It's Tom Ford Ombre Leather, but also Dunhill Agar Wood. So why these two? This one's a leather fragrance, this one's an oud fragrance. Well, they smell fairly similar. Not exactly the same, but close enough that I didn't want to separate them out. I wanted to put them together like buddies. So Ombre Leather, what can you say about it? Stuff smells awesome. My wife loves it, and she's not the biggest lover of leather fragrances. She said that on this channel multiple times. Actually, we did a video just the other day where she said that. And yet, Ombre Leather for her is just killer. Loves the stuff. And it's not just her. Pretty much every single person that smells Ombre Leather loves it. It's smooth. It's got just the right amount of sweetness. It's not dirty or rough around the edges. It's classy. It is a great leather scent for just everyday use in fall and winter time. So what about this one? Agar Wood. Well, it comes from Dunhill, obviously, which is not held in as high of a regard as Tom Ford. And you can find these very often at discounters for a very good price, especially when you take into account how good the stuff on the inside is. So this one, of course, being named Agar Wood, does have that oud note. It also has tobacco and leather, iris, pink pepper, saffron, and as I said before, it has a similarity to Ombre Leather, also to an extent Tuscan leather. Absolutely worth checking out, and in general, this whole collection is worth checking out. Let's go back to niche. Mancera Red Tobacco. Now, red tobacco in the opening is not going to be for everybody, okay? Keep that in mind. If you've never smelled red tobacco, your best bet, your safest bet is to sample it first, because when you first spray this one on, it's pungent. Once you get past that opening, pretty much everyone's gonna love this stuff. It's sweet, it's woody, it has that tobacco, of course, as it says right there in the name. It's spicy, it has a great vanilla note, it's a bit smoky. I'm telling you, this in the air after the opening is a crowd pleaser, and it lasts forever. And with it being a Mancera, it's not all that expensive from discounters either. So there's a lot to love here. Just be aware of that opening. I grew to love it, but I did not like it at first, and I've heard from other people that don't. Okay, let's do another niche one. Leighton Exclusive. Yes, stand up. It's been drinking. Parfums Marley Leighton Exclusive. This one, I would say is probably a little better for winter than the original Leighton, although I am a big fan of the original Leighton and typically would choose to wear that one. So this one is basically Leighton with a darker, richer, more animalic dry down. It's got some additional notes in there into the base. Things have been tweaked, reworked, changed, and some people very much appreciate the changes here with Exclusive over the original. Other people like the original more, but as I said, for winter time, this one probably is the better bet when it's really cold out there, because the additional oomph that this one has, it takes it to the next level. Let's go back to the realm of designers with Gentleman Eau de Parfum. Yeah, Gentleman Eau de Parfum. Feels like I haven't talked about this in forever, because I talk about Reserve Privé or Eau de Toilette Intense or Eau de Parfum Boisé or whatever, one of the flankers. It's like this one is not cool anymore or something, but no, it's still cool. It's still good. Iris, vanilla, tonka, Tolu balsam, little bit of spice, dark, a little bit sweet, mysterious, sexy, all of the above. This rides pretty much right up there with Valentino Uomo Intense and Dior Homme, the original Dior Homme, not Dior Homme 2020, as one of the best iterations of an iris fragrance, that creamy style of iris in men's designer fragrances, period. Killer stuff in the cold. Niche again, Amouage Boundless. Yeah, so Boundless, when I first got it in, it wasn't that I was unimpressed, but I just wasn't into it initially. I smelled it, just kind of set it on the shelf and forgot about it, frankly. And then I went back and revisited when the weather got cold again. And at that moment, I was just like, whoa, why haven't I been wearing this? Extremely approachable for an Amouage fragrance. Now, Amouage does great scents. We all know that, but some Amouage fragrances are not as easily worn as others, you could say. But specifically with their cool weather fragrances, which is the majority of them, a lot of them are not for everybody. This one, though, gets closer to being that type of scent that you can just pull off without really thinking about during the winter. It's got incense, blood orange, cardamom, ginger, vanilla, the tobacco that I talked about before, a lot going on here. Gets overlooked a little bit sometimes because it's not as artistic as some Amouage scents are, but this smells awesome in the cold, in the air. Just so nice. Up next, L'Eau d'Issey Noir Ombre from Issey Miyake. Now, of course, Noir Ombre was a massive hype beast when it first kind of hit the market, at least hit the market to where you could reasonably find it in the US. And interestingly enough, that was at TJ Maxx, of all places. Yeah, it popped up there, people scooped it up, and very quickly everybody realized, well, wait a second, we got something here. Sacre bleu. It's another fragrance that has a little bit of a holiday vibe to it. Around that holiday season where the year turns over, this just fits in perfectly at that time of year. There's vanilla in here, there's leather, there's tonka, there's cinnamon, and saffron as well. Really high quality fragrance, especially for a designer scent. And at discounters, right now you can find this about $80, somewhere around there, 80, 85. I think that is a great deal on the stuff, especially when you consider that there was a time period you couldn't find it really anywhere, again, in the US. And so your best bet was eBay. And the people on eBay were charging jacked up prices. People were paying it. And if you paid for a bottle of this on eBay for like $200-300, I'm feeling for you. I'm sorry. But yeah, right now where you can find it for a decent price, well, decent for this anyway, it's sick. I love it. And then we got a Dior Tabaccoleur. Tobaccolor. I still don't really like that name, but you know, that's whatever. Now, I'm a big fan of tobacco fragrances. Obviously, there's multiple tobacco fragrances in this list. I think they work so well in fall and winter time, and this one's no different. It is very sweet, so be aware of that. If you don't like overly sweet tobacco scents, this one may not work for you. It does have smokiness to it. It has a really pleasant plum note, so you get a different kind of fruity sweetness in here as opposed to your more typical orange or grapefruit or apple or whatever. But if you don't mind a very sweet pipe tobacco type of fragrance, and you don't mind that if you spray on too much, it can be a bit cloying, then check this one out. I, for one, really like the way that it smells. I think it smells amazing in the air. I get great reactions while wearing it. So for me, it's a hit. Last one is from the Merchant of Venice, Venezia 21. Beautiful bottle. Oof, nice. This one is kind of funny to me. So it reminds me of Rogba, which is pretty cheap. It's by Lattafa. And Rogba reminds me of Scent Story 24 Gold, which is also not a really expensive fragrance. This is obviously more expensive than both of those fragrances put together. So you might look at it and think, well, you know, if it reminds you of those, why even mess with this? And you wouldn't really be wrong in saying that. But if you want the highest quality version of that style of scent, if you want to call it that, here it is. And to be fair here, if you spray this on side by side with those other fragrances, there are absolutely differences, like pretty large differences, but it happens all the time with fragrances. Trust me, I know, where somebody will spray a scent on, tester strip, skin, whatever, take a really quick sniff and go, oh, that reminds me of so-and-so, it's the same. And then if you spray them on side by side, you go, oh, they're actually really different, aren't they? Oops. But it is in that style, so it will remind you a little bit of those, especially at first whiff. Praline, cinnamon, oud, vanilla, some of the notes in the fragrance, saffron. So it's another one that is a warm, spicy, vanilla, sweet, ambery kind of scent. Has a little patchouli touch to it, so you get that working underneath everything as the fragrance dries down. It's elegant, it's classy, but still attention grabbing. And the performance on it is pretty good as well. So there's a lot to like about that one on top of, as I said before, just having a really pretty bottle. So there we go. Some fragrances that I think smell amazing during the winter time that are also great at pulling positive compliments. Positive compliments, it's redundant. As always, thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.